Trump has signed orders significantly expanding the goods exempted from his new tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Trump has announced a one-month reprieve from 25% tariffs for goods covered under the US-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. It is the second time in 2 days that Trump has rolled back his taxes on imports from America's two biggest trade partners. While Trump has postponed tariffs for some products until April 2nd, Canada has indicated that its retaliatory tariffs will remain in place for now, though it delayed a second wave of levies. Trump made no mention of a reprieve for Canada, despite his Commerce Secretary saying a comparable exemption was likely.
I spoke to the President of Mexico, a wonderful woman, today, and we helped them out with the problem they were having to do with the tariffs, short-term tariffs. And we had a very good conversation. Also, we discussed drugs, and they've been working much harder lately. Do you notice that? On people coming in and drugs, and we've made tremendous progress on both.
Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum thanked her US counterpart Donald Trump for the move, saying that Mexico would not be required to pay tariffs on any goods that fall under the US-Mexico-Canada Agreement trade deal until April 2nd, when Trump has promised reciprocal tariffs for all countries. Sheinbaum said that both countries would continue working together to stem the arrival of the opioid fentanyl from Mexico into the US.
Many thanks to President Donald Trump. We had an excellent and respectful call in which we agreed that our work and collaboration have yielded unprecedented results while respecting our sovereignties. We will continue to work together, particularly on migration and security issues, which include reducing the illegal crossing of fentanyl into the US as well as weapons into Mexico.
The European Central Bank cut interest rates as expected on Thursday and kept the door ajar to more. Easing for the sixth time since June, the ECB lowered its deposit rate to 2.5% in a nod to slowing inflation and faltering growth, and said that rates were still restricting growth, even if less so than in the past.
The Governing Council today decided to lower the three key ECB interest rates by 25 basis points. In particular, the decision to lower the deposit facility rate, the rate through which we steer the monetary policy stance, is based on our updated assessment of the inflation outlook, the dynamics of underlying inflation, and the strength of monetary policy transmission.
As trade war with the US is looming, ECB President said the threat of such tariff and its potential retaliations are putting a brake on investment, on consumption decisions, on employment, hiring, and all the rest of it.
That tariffs, and particularly if there is retaliation, are not good at all and are net negative on pretty much all accounts. But that's my personal view. Although I think we around the table of the Governing Council, we all agreed that it was net negative when it happens, and it's even negative before it happens, because the uncertainty that is generated and the undermined confidence that results from just the threat of those tariff increases and potential retaliations are putting a brake on investment, on consumption decisions, on employment, hiring, and all the rest of it.
All right, our correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh joins us to get us more. Shubhendu, help us understand. Now, this is the sixth rate cut by the ECB in 9 months. What prompted this rate cut, and how for how long could we expect this trend to continue?
Good morning, Preeti. We have to first understand in layperson's term, the very idea of a rate cut, lowering of the interest rate. In this case, it has been done from 2.75%
yes.
to 2.5%. In the sixth rate cut, as you rightly mentioned, in the past 9 months. A rate cut means that the borrowings are going to become cheaper, loans are going to become cheaper. The government, the ECB wants individual and organization businesses to be able to take loans easily and spur economic growth. Now, why is it happening so frequently? We have to understand that Eurozone was going through, it's one of most difficult economic challenges and phase at the moment. It's further exacerbated by its security concerns. If we look at just the growth figures, about last 3 months of last year, 2024, Europe, the 20 countries in particular that share the euro currency, registered zero growth rate. Europe's economic powerhouse, Germany, has contracted, negative growth rate in the past couple of years. So in that sense, the growth prospects are a significant worry. The inflation numbers, about 2.4%, have come under control. So now the focus is on cutting the rates and spurring growth. We know that Christine Lagarde, the chief of ECB, also spoke about the uncertainty, the investor confidence that has been shaken by the prospects of a trade war between the US and Europe in the coming months. Come April 2nd, a reciprocal tariff will come into play. Even before that, there are tariffs related to aluminium and steel, which concerns many European giants as well. If we look at the trajectory of the bond markets, where investors, foreign investors usually put in money, there is a rampant sellout in the bonds market, which means that investors are concerned about the future of the economy, which is facing significant security concerns in Europe in particular. Bond selling is taking place in Germany. It has moved on to UK as well. There are concerns about Europe's own security infrastructure, the investments that it must make in defense, the loans that the governments will have to take in order to ramp up that kind of defense infrastructure. All these elements are inducing a degree of uncertainty and challenging the investor confidence in Europe. And we see this rate cut really in that context to able to spur growth, particularly ahead of that almost impending tariff war that would be coming in about a month.
All right, Shubhendu, that was about the rate cut, but then we've seen how Trump tariffs have shook the world, and also how the major part of his action would be witnessed after April 2nd. Having said that, help us understand what kind of ripple effects of Trump tariffs will take place in Europe.
That's right. If you talk about Europe in particular, we look at the trade volume between US and Europe. Annually, it's about almost $1 trillion trade. It's one of the highest trade volumes across the world. There's a trade deficit of about $250 to $300 billion against USA. And remember, one of the reasons why President Trump is so keen on this tariff diplomacy is to really balance out that trade deficit with many trade partners. Now, if Europe is going to be paying for that $250 to $300 billion of trade deficit per year, it is going to be a significant setback for Europe as well. Like other countries, it is likely to also put reciprocal tariffs on United States. So in that sense, an ensuing trade war, in the words of Christine Lagarde, the ECB chief, there are no winners really. It's a setback for all sections of economy. And what is worse is that even before the real trade war happens, the speculation itself is enough to make the investors nervous. And that is exactly what is happening at the moment. If we look at the stock markets from US to Europe, to markets in Asia. So in that sense, the speculation, the concerns, the back and forth movement of the Trump administration on tariffs, the case in point, the tariffs that have been relaxed for about a month for Canada and Mexico, there is no clarity in the manner in which President Trump's administration intends to go ahead or pull back on the tariff war, but it does create an environment of uncertainty, a speculation, which is never good for a global economy.
All right, Shubhendu, we leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details. And US-Ukraine talks will be held in Saudi Arabia next week. US President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, said that he is in discussions with Ukraine for a peace agreement framework to end hostilities with Russia, and that a meeting is planned next week with the Ukrainians in Saudi Arabia.
President Zelensky sent a letter to the president. I think the president thought that it was a really good, positive first step, and from that, we're now in discussions to coordinate a meeting with the Ukrainians in Riyadh or even potentially Jeddah. So the city's moving around a little bit, but it will be Saudi Arabia. And I think the idea is to get down a framework for a peace agreement and an initial ceasefire as well.
Trump and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky had acrimonious talks at the White House on February 28th, but since then, the two sides have resumed work on a revenue-sharing minerals deal. At a speech to a joint session of Congress on Tuesday, Trump said that he had received a letter from Zelensky in which the Ukrainian leader said that he was ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Thursday that he would travel to Saudi Arabia on Monday for a meeting with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ahead of the talks later in the week with US officials. Zelensky wrote on the Telegram messaging app that Ukraine is most interested in peace. The British government had struck a deal with a defense tech company to allow Ukrainian armed forces to use more advanced drones in the Black Sea. In an undated handout video, Anduril Industries showed the Altus 600 meters and 700 meters drones termed loitering munitions impacting and exploding military tanks. The UK Defence Ministry has announced a significant contract with Anduril UK to supply Ukraine with advanced drones. Now, the contracts totaling nearly $38.68 million will provide Ukraine with drones capable of monitoring an area and striking targets that enter it. This technology is expected to enhance Ukraine's defense capabilities. Meanwhile, UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, met with UK defence suppliers providing equipment to Ukraine at a Royal Air Force station near London, days after signing a loan agreement worth £2.26 billion to support Ukraine's military capabilities. UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves said that the world is changing. British government will work with Ukraine for as long as it takes.
This government will work with Ukraine for as long as it takes. The world is changing. We can see that all around us. And that's why this government is stepping up to take defence spending to 2.5% of GDP, funded by a reduction in the aid budget. And we've just signed off the extraordinary revenue acceleration loan agreement to be repaid by the profits on sovereign Russian assets to unlock £2.26 billion additional for Ukraine to help them fight this war after Russia's illegal invasion.
The European Council chief Antonio Costa says that the European Union is moving decisively towards strengthening Europe's defence after the bloc's leaders endorsed proposals to massively ramp up military investments.
Today marks a defining moment for Europe, for security of Europeans. A month ago, we had a strategic brainstorming to guide our common action on defence. And today, we are delivering, and we are moving decisively towards a strong and more sovereign Europe of defence.
You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Japan battles worst wildfire in a decade, prompting more evacuations. Trump confirms that the US is holding talks with Hamas regarding hostages' release. Residents of South Korean town hit by accidental bombing by its fighter jets.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. In more news, as per the latest development, the US Supreme Court has denied 2611 accused Tahawwur Rana's emergency stay application. The decision moves Tahawwur Rana closer to extradition to India for his role in the 2008 Mumbai attacks. His attorney now appeals to Chief Justice John Roberts. Rana, a Canadian national of Pakistani origin, had filed an emergency application for stay with the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, of the US and Circuit Justice for the Ninth Circuit. In that petition, Rana argued that his extradition to India violates the US law and the United Nations Convention Against Torture. All right, our correspondent Amrit Pal Singh joins us on phone. Amrit, good morning. Now, we've told our viewers the Supreme Court has denied Tahawwur Rana's emergency stay application. Get us more, what were the court's observations?
The court did not, it's a one line saying that it has denied it. Obviously, the court considered the arguments of Tahawwur Rana, in which he had basically argued that he shall be tortured in India. He faces the imminent risk of torture. He cited that because he's a Muslim of Pakistani origin, he served in the Pakistani army. So given all that, there is imminent threat to his life. Then he also cited that he's not well and he has multiple illnesses, and it would amount to putting him through the risk of torture or degrading treatment. And he said that his argument was, his counsel's argument was that he could end up dead, and that would, and the U.S. courts would lose jurisdiction, and therefore, if the stay is not granted, emergency stay is not granted, the review would hold no meaning. The court obviously did not see merit in this, and Justice Elena Kagan, the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, rejected it or denied the emergency stay application. Now his counsel has moved the Chief Justice John Roberts' court. Unless the court, unless his counsel provides any different kind of argument or a basis for emergency stay, the likelihood of him getting stay on similar grounds is very, very minimal. Preeti?
All right, Amrit, also we are telling our viewers that the Supreme Court of the US has denied Tahawwur Rana's emergency stay application, and you tell us that what course of action that could be taken by him now. But then for the benefit of our viewers, very quickly, get us a flashback of his role during the 2008 attacks.
Okay, once the investigation started, it was clear that he ran an immigration consultancy using which David Coleman Headley had come to India and done the recce. So he was one of the co-conspirators in the 26/11 attacks, where he facilitated the travel of David Coleman Headley. Then he opened an office here of his immigration services. He is basically a Canadian national who served as a doctor in the Pakistan Army before he moved to Canada and opened his immigration services in the US. He opened an office here. He gave wrong documents because if any foreign immigration consultancy has to open an office in India, there are certain procedures. So the wrong documents were provided with the RBI. But the main case against him is of being a co-conspirator in the 26/11 attacks, colluding with David Coleman Headley to execute these attacks. Then the NIA has established his links both with the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Pakistan's ISI, and he was in close touch with both during in the run-up to the 26/11 attacks.
All right, Amrit, thank you for joining in with those details. US President Donald Trump confirmed that the US is having discussions with Hamas regarding Israeli and American hostages still being held. Trump's comments came after his Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff told reporters that direct US discussions with Hamas militants were held in recent days.
We are having discussions with Hamas. We are helping Israel in those discussions because we're talking about Israeli hostages. And we're not doing anything in terms of Hamas. We're not giving cash. We're not giving $6 billion like you hear other administrations give. In fact, I got 59 hostages out, and we gave nothing. In 59, we gave nothing.
The US State Department says that Egypt's plan for Gaza does not meet the demands of President Donald Trump, whose envoy earlier saluted Cairo's efforts but said that the details were being reviewed. Arab leaders adopted an Egyptian reconstruction plan for Gaza that would cost $53 billion and avoid displacing Palestinians from the enclave, in contrast to US President Donald Trump's Middle East Riviera vision.
And this is what the world wants, not only in this conflict, but other conflicts. And no one wins. No one is winning here in this framework. And so, regarding the Arab solution, the Arab deal via Egypt, that what I have for you right now is that it does not meet the expectations.
US President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff said on Thursday that the message to the Palestinian militant group was that the United States wants to get hostages home. Witkoff also said that the US does not believe Hamas has been forthright. Witkoff said that he will travel to the Middle East next week with stops planned in 4 countries.
We feel that Hamas has not been forthright with us, and it's time for them to be forthright with us. And Eden Alexander would be a very important show. And so we'll see how they're going to react. The president has issued a statement about what's acceptable to him and what's not. And hopefully we'll see some good conduct next week, and I'll be able to go in there and have discussions.
North Korea criticized on Friday annual joint military drills planned by the US and South Korea, saying they will worsen the situation on the Korean peninsula, state media KCNA said. KCNA also said that drills will deteriorate circumstances in the Korean peninsula. Annual South Korean and US military exercises called Freedom Shield are due to begin on Monday and run until March 20th. Earlier, Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff said that South Korea and the United States will kick off their annual Freedom Shield military exercise on Monday, March 10th. The joint drills, which will last until March 20th, will strengthen the readiness of the alliance for the realistic threats such as North Korea's military strategy and tactics.
By reflecting realistic threats, lessons learned from recent armed conflicts, and evolving challenges such as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's military strategy, tactics, capabilities, as well as its growing partnership with Russia, the ROK-US alliance will further strengthen its readiness, capabilities, and combined defense posture.
Residents of a South Korean city on Thursday called for an immediate suspension of all live-fire exercises within their district after several bombs were accidentally dropped by South Korean fighter jets, injuring 15 people and damaging houses and a church in the city. Of the 15 wounded, 2 were seriously hurt. The services said in a statement. South Korea's Air Force, which issued a public apology for the incident, said that 8 500-pound Mk-82 bombs fell from KF-16 jets outside the shooting range during joint live-fire exercises. French President Emmanuel Macron is pushing for a stronger European defence strategy, seeking cooperation from other leaders by the end of June 2025. During the European Union's defence summit in Brussels, Macron offered to extend French nuclear deterrence, which sparked interest from other leaders. French President hit back at Russia after the Kremlin warned him not to threaten it with nuclear rhetoric and drew comparisons with Napoleon's failed conquest of Russia. French President Emmanuel Macron is pushing for a stronger European defence strategy, seeking cooperation from other leaders by the end of June this year. Macron's vision aligns with his previous calls for European military autonomy, aiming to reduce reliance on the US over the next 5 to 10 years.
What I proposed was to open a strategic conversation with the member states that were interested in moving forward on this subject. Several of my colleagues came to see me, and so now we will have a phase where our technicians will speak. We will open a strategic and technical dialogue, which will be followed by talks at the level of heads of the state and government to see by the end of the semester whether there are new cooperations that can emerge.
Coopération nouvelle.
Japan is battling its largest wildfire in a decade, scorching vast areas and prompting urgent government action. The blaze, which has been raging for several days now, has raised concerns about the growing impact of climate change. Paulumi Berman has filed this report.
Despite the continuous rain and snow for over 3 days, no respite for Japan's worst wildfire in decades. Firefighters struggle to contain the wildfires in the region. The fire that has been raging for over a week now in the northern city of Ofunato, a coastal region about 400 kilometers north of Tokyo. The blaze that killed one and forced nearly 4,000 to evacuate their homes engulfed around 3,000 hectares of land. It is said to be Japan's largest wildfire in about 50 years after the 1975 wildfire, which burned over 27 hectares of land in Japan's Kushiro district in Hokkaido. Experts think a prolonged dry spell and unreasonably high temperatures over the past 1 year led to this disaster. Rain and snow for continuous 3 days this week was seen as a hope to bring respite to those in the affected areas. But unfortunately, the flames are still raging and authorities are trying their best to douse the flames. Authorities and experts think that a longer dry spell in the last 1 year is the main cause of this disaster. According to the Ofunato municipal government, it has instructed more than 4,500 residents from over 1,900 households to evacuate from the area. Japanese evacuees worry as the fire continues to blaze.
もう入れなくてもまあ安心はできないですよ。
とにかく帰れないからちょっと全然わからないです。
Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba designated the fire a disaster of extreme severity, which would boast central government subsidies for local recovery and reconstruction. Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba mentioned that the government will ensure a swift and appropriate response so that the disaster victims can feel at ease and the financial burden on the local government is also minimized. Thousands of firefighters and helicopters have been deployed and the evacuation process is underway. The focus is now on supporting those who are affected by the fire. However, this is a clear reminder of the threats posed by climate change. This is Paulumi Burman reporting from Tokyo for DD India.
Elon Musk's SpaceX lost contact with its Starship rocket in space on Thursday during its 8th test mission, dooming a satellite deployment demonstration in the company's second consecutive Starship failure this year. The Starship was expected to splash down in the Indian Ocean. However, videos that surfaced on social media showed flaming debris of Starship 8 in the night sky over the Atlantic Ocean, with users in Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas awestruck at the glistening wreckage as it crashed towards Earth, New York Post reported. The rocket system had lifted off at about 6:30 p.m. from SpaceX sprawling Boca Chica, Texas rocket facilities, with its super heavy first stage booster returning back to land as planned. Now, this is the second time in a row that a test flight has dealt with a major issue in flight. The failure of a SpaceX Starship test flight has prompted numerous flight diversions around Turks and Caicos and ground stops at the 4 Florida airports. You're watching DD India News Hour. We are heading for a short break. But after the break, we'll tell you how India is leading the AI revolution, empowering startups and innovators for a self-reliant future. March 7th marks Jan Aushadhi Divas, making affordable, inclusive healthcare for all possible. Union Home Minister Amit Shah attends 56th Raising Day of CISF in Tamil Nadu.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. A quick relook at the top stories now. US President Donald Trump expands exemptions from Canada and Mexico tariffs. Second rollback in 2 days on imports from America's two biggest trade partners. Amid threat of trade war with the US, ECB cuts key lending rate but warns of phenomenal uncertainty. Sixth rate reduction in 9 months. US Supreme Court rejects 2008 Mumbai terror attack accused Tahawwur Rana's bid to block extradition to India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his gratitude to the government and the people of Barbados for Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados Award. Prime Minister wrote on social media platform X, and I quote him, "Grateful to the government and the people of Barbados for this honor. Dedicate the Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados Award to the 1.4 billion Indians and to the close relations between India and Barbados." Up on your screens, we have the message of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on social media platform X. He expressed his gratitude to the government and the people of Barbados for the Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados Award. Earlier, India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, received on behalf of Prime Minister Narendra Modi the Honorary Order of the Freedom of Barbados Award from the President of Barbados, Dame Sandra, at the Government House in Bridgetown, Barbados. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Amor Motley, and other dignitaries were all present on the occasion. The award was bestowed upon Prime Minister in acknowledgement of his strategic leadership and significant assistance during the COVID pandemic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin his 2-day visit to Gujarat and the neighbouring Union territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli on Friday. During his visit, Prime Minister will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of several projects to boost infrastructure, economy and employment in the state and adjoining regions. Prime Minister will reach Silvassa in Dadra and Nagar Haveli on Friday and inaugurate the 450-bed Namo Hospital. From there, he will go to Saili Stadium to inaugurate and lay the foundation for 62 projects. Later, he will also address the gathering. On Saturday, Prime Minister will be in Navsari district to attend the Lakpati Didi Sammelan at Vansi Borsi and disburse 450 crore rupees in financial assistance to more than 2.5 lakh women from over 25,000 self-help groups. In his Prime Minister, Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 450-bed Namo Hospital in Silvassa in Dadra and Nagar Haveli on Friday. The Namo Hospital is a much-awaited project for the Union Territory. The hospital specially has state-of-the-art technologies at operation theatres, and a lot of the devices installed there are purely made in India. Here's more.
I'm here at the Namo Hospital, which Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating on the 7th of March. And at this hospital, there is one of its kind operation theatre. To talk more on this, we're joined by Rajan Verma. Sir, thank you so much for talking to Didi India. How can you explain to us what are the important, because generally we see that operation theatres are definitely very high-tech, but what is the thing that you put in here extra?
The theatre is built up here by MDD Medical. This is a new technology which is solid mineral surface. These theatres are truly modular theatres with nosocomial infection free. The most critical part of the theatre is the sterility. We have a laminar flow system, which is a unique feature of the theatre, with a class 100 specification was there earlier, but now we have came to class 10. Similar theatres were built up with a lower segment in Bilaspur, in Nagpur, and many other aims. But this one is a latest state-of-the-art technology, where we have given data management system, integration system of the part, and then we have a very high-end operation theatre pendants, the lighting system, and the critical aspect of the system is that you can straightway go to the data management and video management system, where you can record the surgery, you can translate the surgery to different other departments in the auditorium, and most important part is that every surgery you can record. Because when you are going in a high-end theatre scenario, you need to build up the system for teaching purpose, for a lot of things. And the purpose of MDD was to build up the theatres based on today's demand. And it is an initiative of Make in India policy, So we try to use maximum equipment which is built up by us in India in Gurgaon factory, and this truly are truly modular operation theatre.
So definitely when we actually hear from Mr. Verma himself that this is a state-of-the-art technology, the operation theatre here at the Namo Hospital, which will not only cater to the students who are studying the medical sciences, but also be very efficient in terms of the surgeries which will be performed here. With my colleague Virendra, this is Meghna Dev, coordinating India from Silvassa. I'm here at the Namo Hospital.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has called on Irish President Michael D. Higgins, marking the beginning of his visit to Ireland. During the meeting, Jaishankar shared his insights on the contemporary world and its development debates. He also spoke of the role of culture in strengthening nationhood. The minister also spoke to other Irish leaders, including former Prime Minister of Ireland, Leo Varadkar, and also interacted with Ministers James Lawless, Robert Troy, and Member of Parliament Malcolm Byrne. All the leaders appreciated their warm sentiments and steadfast support for India-Ireland ties. India's Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar, addressed an event in Ireland's Global University where he spoke about different issues. The minister discussed India's vision for Global South. He also parked the consent about Global South in global decision-making, highlighting India's commitment to fostering cooperation and solidarity within the Global South.
When we speak today in India about the concerns of the Global South, our expectation is that Ireland, more than many others in this part of the world, will display an understanding and support. We are two countries who do believe in the need for a world order, in respect for international law, and we do value international regimes and cooperation. In India, we speak of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, the world is a family, which is very much a sort of a tradition. It encapsulates the fundamental openness of our society.
India's Union Home Minister Amit Shah attended the 56th Raising Day celebrations of the Central Industrial Security Force in Arakonam, Ranipet on Friday. Amit Shah participated as the event's chief guest, marking the force's contributions to national security and inaugurated various infrastructure and development projects. Amit Shah laid a wreath to pay tribute to the CISF personnel as part of the commemorations. The event was held with full ceremonial honours, highlighting the force's role in safeguarding critical infrastructure across the country.
आज मैं तमिलनाडु की महान भूमि पर खड़ा हूं। 2019 में हमने तय किया कि बल का स्थापना दिन दिल्ली में मनाने की जगह देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में मनाएंगे, और आज मुझे बड़ा आनंद है कि CISF का स्थापना दिन क्षेत्रीय प्रशिक्षण केंद्र तक्कोलम में आज मनाया जा रहा है। तमिलनाडु की संस्कृति ने अनेक प्रकार से भारत की संस्कृति की नदी को मजबूत करने का काम किया है, चाहे प्रशासनिक सुधार हो, चाहे आध्यात्मिक ऊंचाई प्राप्त करनी हो, चाहे शिक्षा के मानांक गढ़ने हो, चाहे देश की एकता और अखंडितता का संदेश हो। हर क्षेत्र में तमिलनाडु ने भारतीय संस्कृति को बहुत मजबूत किया है।
Imagine getting quality medicines at 50 to 80% lower prices than the branded ones. Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras make this possible with 15,000 centres across India offering 2,300 types of medicines. Doordarshan's health correspondent Nitendra Singh gets us more in this report on Jan Aushadhi Divas.
March 7th marks the Jan Aushadhi Day. Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras under the scheme offer quality medicines at 50 to 80% lower prices than branded ones. With 15,000 centres nationwide, these Kendras provide 2,300 types of medicines and surgical equipment. Notable, 40% of the centres are run by women entrepreneurs. Over the last decade, people have saved around 30,000 crore rupees through this initiative. The scheme makes affordable healthcare accessible to all, especially the underprivileged, while promoting women's empowerment and entrepreneurship.
I am really thankful to Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India,
For the people who are below the poverty line, they will be much benefited when they will come and visited this center, this medicine kendra.
People from every section of society are getting benefit from it. Generic medicines are usually 90%. We can avail the discount of at least 90% from generic medicines, and these are very useful also for people like us who used to have medicines of around 9,000 to 10,000 monthly, but now we are having the same medicines at around 800 to 900 rupees per month.
Medicines for heart diseases, diabetes, fever, pain, and even cancer treatment are available at Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras. Even sanitary napkins are available for just 1 rupee. About 12 lakh people visit Jan Aushadhi Kendras every day. Those who want to open Jan Aushadhi Kendras are helped by the government. These Kendras not only provide cheap medicines but also provide employment. India's generic medicines are famous all over the world. 1 out of every 5 people in the world consume medicines made in India. Jan Aushadhi Kendras are being opened across the country to ensure that affordable medicines reach every person in the country, especially the poor. Government has set up a target of opening 25,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras by 2027. With inputs from Nitendra Singh, DD India.
The Jan Aushadhi scheme has benefited many across India. India's Health Minister JP Nadda congratulated citizens on the occasion to mark the Jan Aushadhi Day and also hailed the achievements under the scheme.
Under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana (PMBJP) has transformed healthcare with the mantra "Achhi bhi, sasti bhi," ensuring high quality, affordable medicines for all. With over 15,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras across India, the initiative serves 1 million people daily, offering medicines at 50% to 90% lower prices. This has resulted in 30,000 crore of savings, easing medical expenses of countless families.
From creating models in different languages to setting up data labs and building applications across sectors, the India AI mission is picking up speed and scale. India is in fact creating an inclusive and innovation-driven ecosystem with major emphasis on open data and affordable access. Take a look at this report.
India is at the forefront of an artificial intelligence revolution, shaping its future with innovation, accessibility and self-reliance. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, AI is no longer confined to big tech companies. It is now empowering students, startups and innovators across the country.
India's massive and diverse data set is driving groundbreaking technical advancements in AI, not just in India but globally.
AI infrastructure. With the Indian AI mission, the government has allocated 10,300 crore to build one of the world's most advanced AI compute infrastructures. A high-end common computing facility equipped with nearly 19,000 GPUs is making AI research more affordable and accessible. India is also developing its own GPUs, reducing dependence on imports and fostering homegrown innovation. Open data and AI excellence. Data is the foundation of AI and India is ensuring access through the India AI Dataset platform. This initiative provides high-quality, anonymized datasets, fueling AI solutions in agriculture, healthcare and governance. Additionally, AI centers of excellence in key sectors are driving research and application development. AI for India's languages. India is developing its own AI models, including large language models tailored for Indian languages. Digital India Bhashini is breaking language barriers, while Bharat Gen and Sarvan 1 are revolutionizing public services, content creation, and multilingual AI applications. AI-powered public services. AI is seamlessly integrating with digital public infrastructure, from managing crowds at Mahakumbh 2025 to streamlining financial services. India's AI-driven solutions are setting global benchmarks for efficiency and accessibility. pragmatic AI regulation approach. India is investing in AI-driven safeguards, funding top universities and IITs to develop solutions for deepfakes, privacy risk, and cybersecurity threat. The future of AI in India. With a strong talent pipeline, robust AI investments, and a pragmatic regulatory approach, India is on track to becoming a global AI powerhouse. The future is digital, and India is leading the way. With input from Taposh Bhattacharya, Tripti Party Support, TT India.
Belgium's Princess Astrid led a high-level economic mission to India beginning Saturday to shore up bilateral cooperation in key areas including renewable energy, health and life sciences, and transport and logistics. We get to more in this report by DT India's Shama Mishra.
Her Royal Highness Princess Astrid of Belgium, on Thursday, on her second day of the Mumbai visit, attended business sessions relating various sectors. She was present for a seminar, India-Belgium Industrial Decarbonization and Global Hydrogen Supply Chains. Matthias de Pendeel, Minister-President of Flanders, while addressing the gathering said, in a world of continuous shifting geopolitical scenarios, the nation needs strong and reliable partners. He added the two nations could collaborate on the production and transport of these molecules and innovations trying to overcome technical challenges. An MOU between Nishant Balashanmugam of Green Hydrogen India GH2 and Raphael Tillet, CEO Hydrogen at John Cockerell and board member of Belgium Hydrogen Council was also signed.
Some of the leadership that Belgium has in the sector, they have various technologies, they have more than 200 companies. Now India is at the beginning of this journey, much like rest of the world, but we have much more potential than anybody else, right? Taiwan, Belgium, they can all have the technologies, but they don't have the market. That's what India can provide. So the goal of this partnership is to first build the bridges, fill the gaps in the industry.
The Princess of Belgium also attended India-Belgium Impact Forum, where she was given a presentation of positive societal impact of a company like CNSQO. Dr. Ilham Kadri gave a presentation on various projects and innovations of collaborations which are impacting Indians. The Princess was also present at another seminar, Innovation, Decarbonization and Cost-Saving Strategies, Stronger Together, which delved into green steel and its issues. A panel discussion on the ways to move towards sustainability in green steel was organized, which witnessed participation from Prabodha Acharya of JSW, Wim Wangavan of AMNS, and Amita Khurana of Tata Steel.
Belgium is an innovative country in terms of technology. We have a lot of benefits to bring in India and some synergies to make for the benefits of both countries. India is deploying a large-scale steelmaking capacity, is looking after green steelmaking, and Belgium has the reply to the needs that are observed from India.
We work already substantially in India, namely with Tata Steel, but also we're licensing quite some companies like PP rolling mills in order to produce lines of Temcor, which is an interesting technology for rebar production. And so I think that we can still collaborate more substantially with Indian companies by licensing first of all, but also engaging in more groundbreaking technology developments altogether.
Shama Mishra's report, Mumbai, DD India.
Let's turn focus to business updates now. The US dollar wallowed near a 4-month low on Friday as ever-shifting tariff policies fanned uncertainty and increased concern about growth prospects for the world's largest economy, leaving investors grasping for jobs data due later in the day. Another reprieve of levies aimed at Mexico and Canada, announced by US President Donald Trump on Thursday, offered little relief. Against the Swiss franc, the dollar dropped to a 3-month low. The greenback also lost some ground against the Canadian dollar and Mexican peso following the announcement. The reprieve expires on April 2nd when Trump said that he will impose reciprocal tariffs on all U.S. trading partners. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order on Thursday to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve a day before meeting with executives from the cryptocurrency industry at the White House. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by the federal government that was fortified as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. The White House crypto czar, billionaire David Sachs, said in a post on social media platform X. Attendees at Friday's White House Crypto Summit expect the event to serve as a stage for Trump to formally announce his plans to build a strategic reserve containing Bitcoin and 4 other cryptocurrencies. A look at sports updates now. Indian football legend Sunil Chhetri has come out of retirement and made himself available for national team in the third round of the AFC Asian Cup 2027 against Bangladesh on March 25th. Chhetri had announced his retirement from international football last June after a stalemate against Kuwait in India's FIFA's World Cup 2026 qualifiers. However, the 40-year-old will once again wear national colours and lead the line for India in the upcoming international break. India will play a friendly match against Maldives on March 19th in preparation for the opening match of the AFC Asian Cup 2027. Brazil have recalled Santos forward Neymar for this month's World Cup qualifiers against Colombia and Argentina after more than a year. The 33-year-old sustained a knee injury in Brazil's World Cup qualifier against Uruguay in October 2023 and has struggled to secure a spot in the squad. Neymar has 128 caps and a record 79 goals for his country, surpassing Pele's tally of 77. He was part of Brazil's gold medal winning squad at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games and also helped them finish runners-up to Argentina at the 2021 Copa America. Soccer's governing body FIFA will review a proposal to expand the 2030 World Cup to 64 teams to mark the centenary of the sport's marquee event. The 2030 World Cup will be held in Morocco, Spain and Portugal, with Argentina, Paraguay and Uruguay, where the inaugural edition was staged, set to host the 3 games. The World Cup has already been expanded from 32 to 48 teams for next year's edition in the US, Mexico and Canada. Manchester United drew 1 each away to Real Sociedad in the first leg of their Europa League last 16 tie on Thursday, while Tottenham suffered a 1-0 loss at Dutch side AZ Alkmaar. Joshua Zirkzee drilled in from just outside the area to give United the lead on 57 minutes in San Sebastian, but Mikel Oyarzabal levelled from the spot. Andy Onana made 2 excellent saves to keep United level as Real Sociedad pressed for a winner, leaving the tie evenly poised ahead of the next week's second leg. Spurs went behind in the 18th minute when Lucas Bergwall put the ball into his own net from a corner and the visitors failed to register a shot on target in the opening half. Tottenham will now look to overturn the deficit back at home in the second leg next Thursday. England cricket supremo Rob Key said on Thursday that the Test captain Ben Stokes has to be on the list of possible replacements for Rosie Butler for white ball cricket. Jos Butler stood down last week following a poor display by the side at the Champions Trophy 2025 in Pakistan, where his team lost all the 3 of their group matches. England have now suffered 10 defeats in 11 white ball fixtures this year. England and Wales Cricket Board Managing Director for Men's Cricket Key is considering his options, which include expanding Stokes' remit. The Women's Tennis Association (WTA) announced on Thursday that it will offer players up to 12 months of paid maternity leave and other benefits for the first time. It is one of the part of the sweeping new family benefits program sponsored by the Saudi Public Investment Fund. The WTA said that it is the first time that maternity benefits are available to self-employed athletes. More than 320 players are eligible for the benefits, with criteria reliant on competing in a certain number of WTA tournaments in a window of time. The announcement comes amid a broader shift in global sport to support working parents, with high-profile athletes calling for more benefits in the era. Brazilian teen João Fonseca rallied from a breakdown in the third set to beat Britain's Jacob Fearnley 6-2, 1-6, 6-3 on Thursday and reached the second round at Indian Wells. The 18-year-old from Rio de Janeiro kept his cool in the California desert, after winning the last 5 games to clinch the match. Fernley raced out to a 3-1 lead in the third before Fonseca stepped up his shot-making to reel off the final 5 games. He finished the match in style with a dazzling lunge volley at the net on match point. Next up for Fonseca is another Briton, 13-seed Jack Draper. That's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us at India League, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.